Ya tatu na ya mwisho Alhamisi hii, siku hii ya leo tarehe 20 mwezi wa pili mwaka wa 2025. How are you doing? Natumai kwamba umekuwa mzima tena sana. Kuna watu ambao wakati mwingine unaangalia mtu unasema huyu naye ana utoto sana. Mwingine unamwangalia unasema huyu naye hasira, huyu naye ako hivi, huyu naye ako hivi. Kumbe haya yote si kwamba mtu amejifunza akiwa mtu mzima, ni matatizo, ni changamoto, maumivu aliyopata wakati ambapo yuko mdogo ama yeye ni mchanga. Na ndio maana tunataka tuweze kutatua vile ambavyo tuliambiwa kwamba hauwezi angamiza mti kabla haujang'oa mizizi. Yaani ukikata juu utachipuka tu bado. Ukitoa tawi moja lingine litachipuka tu, na hata lisipochipuka lingine litaendelea tu. Lakini sasa je, tutawezaje kutambua tatizo letu lilo kwenye mizizi ili kwa pamoja tuweze kuling'oa? Mimi sina jibu, lakini mtaalamu wangu anajibu ndani ya nyumba. Si mgeni kwako, ni dada Masi Muriuki ambaye ni mshauri, ni mwanasaikolojia. Mpatie kofia zingine zote ambazo Mwenyezi Mungu ameweka juu yake, na tuko hapa kwa ajili ya kuweza kuangazia hili swala. Na pia yeye hutembea na ufanya kazi sana kwa ukaribu na wanarika vijana. Kwa hivyo tatizo ambalo uko nalo pale nje, wewe mwanarika unayetazama, usiogope. Usiseme mimi mamangu hanielewi, dadi hanielewi. Kuna mtu ambaye anakuelewa. Ama wewe mzazi unatazama, unasema kwamba huyu kijana amenishinda. Wazazi wengi wanasikia wakisema kwamba kijana huyu amenishinda. Basi mtume yule kijana aweze kuzungumza na mshauri. Na wewe, hata wewe mama ambaye unatazama, baba unayetazama, inawezekana kwa sababu yote yako hapa. Na Masi yuko pamoja nasi. Childhood traumas 22914 Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV na YouTube channel Mwangaza TV Kenya. Twende kazi.
Asante sana Celestine. Thank you for your humble invitation. And I thank God for being here this morning. Amen. As we speak about trauma.
Amen.
Trauma, we normally hear many people say niko traumatized.
Niko na trauma.
Huyu ako na trauma.
Yes.
But really, what is trauma?
Exactly.
Yeah, na tukiangalia pale katika ile research imefanywa na wanasayansi wanaeleza ya kwamba ni kitu ambayo iko frightening, ambayo iko na threat, ina pose danger in your life.
Yeah.
So trauma ziko in many different. There are so many traumas. Na labda we can ask those who are listening, those who are watching, to write down on the chat box. Tell us how many traumas do you know, or how many traumas do you think you have gone through?
Yes.
And to say to just mention by a few, kuna sexual trauma, someone who has gone through sexual harassment, or physical. Mtu physical ni ile mtu amekuchapa, emotional ni ile mtu ametumia words ambazo ziko very hurting.
Yes.
Kuna violence, ndio hiyo vita. So trauma are experienced in many ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes pia tushasikia wale watu labda wako outside the country, wameenda countries za wazungu, wanasema racism, pia hiyo ni trauma. They get into trauma because sasa wako pale, wako na different color, they are not being accepted. They go through trauma. So there are so many traumas that you go through, but really it's something that frightens your life. It's something that you have gone through. It's something that keeps repeating itself in terms of inaendelea ni kama ukumbusho wakati sasa uko grown up. Kuna zile in your mind, kuna hiyo kureverse na kukumbuka, this is what happened to me. And especially kama labda unapitia whatever. For example, inaweza kuwa ulikuwa in a family ambayo maybe the father was very abusive. Labda alikuwa anachapa mama sana, anampigia makelele. Sasa pale ulipata ile trauma kwa sababu ya kuona hiyo violence through your parent. Na sasa you are a grown up person, you want to have a relationship. Inakuwa very hard when especially maybe you get a spouse ana repeat zile tabia ambazo unaona ulikuwa nazo pale awali. So inakuwa very challenging how to deal with it, and especially in adulthood. Yes.
Wow, I like that. 22914 na Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV. Na kuna mtu nataka tuanze kwa address wazazi kwanza. Kwa sababu kuna mzazi labda Seleni kwa pale nyumbani, kuna vitu, baadhi ya vitu ambavyo ninafanyia mwanangu ambavyo sijui kwamba kesho yake vitamletea madhara. Labda tungeanza kuangazia hivyo kidogo ili tunapo elimishana sisi sote, hata tutakapoanza kudeal na hizo traumas ambazo zimetuathiri mpaka katika utu uzima, tutaweza kuelewa how we contributed or some of the triggers that brought someone into that situation.
Absolutely. Hizo ndio tunaita causes, like what contributes to a child getting that trauma. Ndio tunaita childhood trauma. Kwa sasa tutaongelelea tu kwa in general, hatutaangazia mtoto haswa, kwa sababu pia sasa hii ni ile trauma inakushika ukiwa mtoto, and you start developing na una grow nayo all way through. If you don't get help, if you don't process it, inaendelea hata sasa in mental health, inaanza kuwa disorder, ama inaweza leta ile ugonjwa. Wakati mwingine mzazi anaweza kuwa alilelewa in a very harsh background, anataka kupass the same kuraise mtoto wake the same way alireziwa. Kwa hivyo there's something that we call passing on a pattern to the next generation. And right now we have a very different generation about they don't know, and especially if you shout to them, wanashindwa, mom, why are you shouting? Why? I mean, just tell me. Maybe mama yake akilelewa, babake alikuwa anashout akiwa huko hata before akuje kwa gate. Ashaanza kuongea, and everybody in the house has aligned everything. So huyu mama ama huyu mzee ama huyu hakuweza kuprocess ile ilikuwa ni trauma, and they were abused. So anataka kupass on the same thing to the child, and they are shouting to these children. Watoto wanakuwa na anxiety wakati sasa huyu mama ameanza kushautia mtoto, anamchapa. Ndio tunaita hata pale shuleni, unaona sasa hivi government ili stop the corporal punishment. Kwa sababu tumeona in many ways, kuna wakati watoto wameumizwa sana pale shuleni, wamekuwa traumatized by the way the teachers beat them, and that has also affected the way they approach education. So that is why even the government said no, there's other ways of talking to these children, of disciplining them. So the same way it can be passed from a parent, it can be passed from a teacher, it can be passed from a guardian. Juu kuna watoto wenye hawana wazazi wao, labda wanaishi pale children's home, kuna mtu ameweza kuangalia. Wakati tunazingatia sana wakati mambo ama maisha ya watoto, they are vulnerable and they are innocent, na hawajui watawezaje kujitetea. So wewe kama mzazi ama wewe kama caregiver, it's very important to understand the child. They also come with different personality. Ndio sasa wakati unampigia makelele, unaelewa ukimpigia makelele ndio anafanya kazi haraka, ama ana slow down haraka, ama hata anaanza kwa kichwa ngumu. Kwa sababu wewe piga tu makelele, nitafanya kazi wakati nitataka. Kwa hivyo we pass on this pattern to the children, and when they grow up and when they have their own homes, inakuwa even worse, because now they start bringing that pattern into their homes, into their relationships, and into their children. That is why tunaona ya kwamba kuna watoto wengi sana ni wagonjwa. Siku hizi watoto wanagonjeka mental illness wakiwa wadogo sana, kwa sababu ya labda vile amelelewa na huyu mzazi. Na hizo trauma ambazo tunazungumzia zinaweza pia kuja kwa wakati mzazi pia ananyima mtoto ile rights, the rights of the child. The child has a right to go to school, they have a right to eat, they have a right to have to be in a house, they have a right. So wakati pia mzazi ananyima mtoto rights zake, mtoto pale anashindwa nilifanya nini, ya kwamba watoto wengine wanaweza enda shule, mimi siwezi. Kwa hivyo ile trauma inaweza pia anza kubuild up kwa huyu mtoto.
How will you know kwamba someone ama mtoto ako traumatized?
Especially for the young children, unaona huyu mtoto anaanza kuwa reserved, analia, ako so much emotional. Huyu mtoto pia anaweza anza kutotaka kutoka nje kucheza na watoto wengine.
Anachikalia.
Anataka tu kukaa kivyake. Anaweza pia kosa kukula chakula. Zile vitu tu tunaangalia, tunaona ya kwamba zinafaa kuwa normal, but this child is not taking them to be normal. So they start withdrawing from family, from society, from even their play. Watoto wanapenda kucheza sana, hawataki hata kucheza anymore. So huyu mtoto unaona hana interest na anything. Those are kind of the symptoms unaweza angalia na huyu mtoto. Kama ni mtu kama ako teenage, unaona ya kwamba ameanza ku-engage in tunazita maladaptive behavior kama kunywa pombe, kusmoke, anaanza kufukuzwa sana shuleni, kwa sababu sasa mawazo yake iko zile, anafikiria zile za there's nothing, what's the biggest thing that can happen.
It's true.
So anaanza kujipata pia ana engage into sexual activities. They don't care. Pale unaona ya kwamba pia masomo yake imeanza kwenda chini sana. Wakati mwingine pia tumepata watoto wanajikatakata. Sijui kama umesikia mtoto amejikatakata mikono ama amejikatakata miguu. Sana sana hawa watoto wakati wanajikata wanataka kurelease ile pressure.
They want to feel there's so much pressure na hawajui wa release aje.
Yes, wanataka kurelease ile pressure. Ama sometimes wanaweza kuwa na friends wao wanajikatakata pia. So pia ni what they are seeing and what they are hearing inaweza kuwa ni kukopi each other, but mostly inakuanga huyu mtoto ako depressed, and this is the only way ana feel ako connected, so anajikata. And most of the times unaweza pata hawa watoto wanapenda kuvaa long sleeved, wanataka kuvaa vitu
baggy.
Huwezi ona skin yao because maybe wako na fresh wounds ama wako na hizo scars.
Wow. So that really poses a challenge to us as parents and caregivers. Kwamba we should look out to them. I want you to react to this. Kwamba I have a son ambaye alikuwa very active in sports, especially akiwa shule. Today he's in grade 9, lakini ame withdraw. But when I look around, there's nothing that could have contributed to this. When I look around, there's nothing that could have contributed to this.
That is a parent.
That is a parent.
Or a guardian.
Yes.
When they look around, they don't see
anything that could have triggered that.
Na mtoto ako grade 9.
Yes.
Marks zake zimeanza kwenda chini.
Yes, and he used to be very active even in sports, meaning saa ame withdraw.
Okay, some of the traumas that the children go through ni bullying. Okay, so mtoto anaweza kuwa
school.
At school, in the estate, hata nyumbani by the siblings. So bullying ni when someone picks on you and they want to shame you and they want to laugh at you. They want to show that you are powerless. So that lowers the self-esteem of a child. It lowers the confidence of that child. So she might be willing to get to know the son, what could have gone wrong, because yeye kama mzazi akiangalia labda anampatia chakula, amemlipia school fees, everything ako tu sawa, but there might be something wrong with the child. Labda ni kitu amepitia pale shuleni, ama ni kitu amepitia pia pale kwa estate, ama pia within the family members. So as a parent ni vizuri aweze kuwalk na mtoto wake, na akishindwa anaweza mpeleka kwa child therapist na ataweza kusaidiwa.
How does childhood trauma affect the self-esteem? Na umeangazia the withdrawal and everything else, but how does it really affect the self-esteem ya huyu mtoto ama hata huyu mtu katika utu uzima? And what is the worst that can happen, especially when the self-esteem imeaffectiwa negatively?
Self-esteem unajua ni ile inaweza kuwa ni positive in many ways or negative in other ways. Self-esteem also ni ile backbone ambayo una feel good about yourself. You feel good about yourself. You believe in yourself. So this child is not believing in themselves anymore. They don't see any meaning to live or any meaning to continue doing what they want, like studying hard, like kama ni hiyo sport siku hizi sasa tunaona watoto wako into sports, wako into football, wako into rugby, and they are good at it. Unaona ya kwamba huyu mtoto anaona hakuna haja mimi niendelee na hii mchezo ama haya masomo, kama ni debate club, kama ni science club, wako kwa hizo clubs. Unaona mtoto kabisa ameenda chini, so the self esteem is really affected, and it affects that confidence ya huyo mtoto. Hajiamini, value yake imeenda chini, amekuwa so much affected ya kuwa mpaka huyu mtoto kuamka kufanya just normal things like kuchukua kikombe kupeleka kitchen inakuwa ni shida. Na ni kitu ambayo ina happen every day, inaendelea kupile and pile. So you find that when this child becomes a young adult, they lose a lot of opportunities like scholarships, because this child was a very bright child. Wakati sasa anapofika pale maybe kwenda university, labda angepata a good scholarship, amekuwa hiyo opportunity hajaipata. Ama maybe a sports academy wanted to pick yeye because it's one of the best, unapata lose hiyo opportunity. So opportunities also they come and go, and sometimes you might not be able to get them again. So mtoto kama huyu akiwa na hiyo self esteem iko chini, hawezi jisimamia, hawezi jiongelelea, hawezi defend as a child. Yes,
even katika utu uzima pia inamuathiri.
Sasa inaenda hivyo grow up to now a grown up. Unamuona ya kwamba sasa pale kazini hataki ku socialize na other people.
Yes,
because now when he remembers what went through in his childhood, maybe that bullying, inakuja imemfuata mpaka job. He's being bullied by his colleagues. So anashanga, na kwani I was born to be bullied all through my life. So it continues and continues. It is a pattern that really continues, and it keeps on in your mind, keep on running and running.
Wow. 2914 na pia kwa Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV, tuko ndani ya nyumba tunaangazia hili swala ambalo ni ugonjwa nizungumze, kwa sababu ikiwa halitadhibitishwa vizuri ama kushughulikiwa haraka, basi matatizo yake yanaweza onekana sana. Unasema niko ndani ya nyumba na niko tuned hadi tamati. Asante sana watching kutoka Thika. I'm learning a lot from Mercy. Ni Carol Dishon, thank you so much. Daktari Rajab unasema uko ndani, na Ann Barton unasema you're watching kutoka na Rumoro. Good morning Lois Waben, asante. Na Aida unasema we are learning a lot, thank you so much. Na Geoffrey Kadhiru unasema uko ndani. Daniel Njogu unasema you following us as well. Na Sara Njogu vile vile nimekuona out. Tuko na Daniel Njogu na Sara Njogu, thank you so much. Unasema good morning, uko ndani ya nyumba unatufuata vizuri. Nami nasema karibu tusonge mbele kiutaratibu. 22914 na pia kwa Facebook page yetu Mwangaza TV. Masi nataka tuweze, we've seen a pattern katika utu uzima, a pattern where should I say it's a pattern especially with our boys, with our male, ambayo they do not have the capacity or the courage to, you know, like go for what they want. Na tumeona wengi wakitumia other means. We've seen men even rape, you know, because maybe they feel they can't do this, they can't achieve this, and yet tuko na wengi wanasema mimi nimeshindwa kukatia. What is the relationship between their childhood and now them being watu wazima, and they are there? My brother Mihona will always ask a person ni mistari hauna tukupe, you know.
Well, vile tumesema inaweza kuwa ni frightening. Trauma ni kitu inakufrighten ama inakukumbusha ukumbusho ya kitu ambayo ili happen. So maybe sijui research, lakini research hapo ya World Health Organization inaonyesha ya kwamba 1 out of 7 men go through trauma ya sexual violence, and 1 out of 5 in women, they also go through sexual violence and they get that trauma. So of course your number imeendelea increase.
And that is the reported number.
So wacha niseme trauma inaweza kuwa part of affecting these young men not to know how to kukatia.
Yes.
And especially if they came from an abusive family. Okay? If they ever saw the father beat the mother, if they ever saw, they unfortunately there are some fathers who will rape the parents even in front of the children. If they ever saw such a scene, haiwezi toka ndani ya akili zao. So wakati ashakuwa grown up, ashaanza sasa kujaribu, inaweza kuwa very difficult. And that is why we say, before you get into this relationship, invest on yourself. Invest on understanding even your personality koaje. Ndio uweze kujua how to approach. Invest on even knowing wewe ni nani. Enda uongeleshe mtu, mweleze hizi ni ndo matatizo nimepitia na ningependa mimi mwenyewe niweze kuwa na familia. I don't know how to go about this because of what happened in my past. Maybe amekuwa sexually molested, sodomized. They can get help. The beauty about all this, that there is hope in healing. There is hope in healing, and you can be able to go through a process called healing. It's not a one-day process, and you can be able to have a good, fruitful family.
Let's talk about the power of words. The power of words. Wakati watoto wetu wana grow, wakati tunaendelea in different sectors of our lives, as a contributing factor to traumas.
Shouting. When parents are shouting, you're speaking bad words to your children. You're telling them they will end up being nothing. Nobodies. Yes. And especially, let me just say this. Maybe a child was gotten through rape. Okay? They will not find any meaning to want to raise this child if they don't have love for this child. Remember, mtoto ako innocent. Hakujileta, ajui, hata ajui alikuja aje. Sasa wewe kama mzazi usipoonyesha huyu mtoto upendo na umshield, kwa sababu zile rights za na ni very important wazazi tuelewe watoto wako na rights. Na wako na rights za kupendwa. So if we do not shield them with love, we do not show them this is the way to go, wataendelea kugrow wakijua they are unwanted. Why my mother always beat me? Or, for example, is what do you call them? Blended family. Wewe umeolewa na watoto wako na mzee pia amekuja na watoto wake. So pale lazima mkue very very careful how you treat one another. Manake wewe ungetaka kufavor your children, mzee pia anataka kufavor mtoto wake. So pale lazima muweze kusaidia hawa watoto sana ili wasiweze kuwa na empty iyo part ya kufeel like mom you have neglected me, dad you have neglected me. So it's very very important the things that we do to our children. We normally say monkey see monkey do. Vile mtawafundisha, vile mtawaonyesha, that's how they will come into the society. That is how they will treat other people, their spouses, into the society. Yes.
The power of words. I wish wazazi tungesikia hiyo na tuweze kuelewa. Kuna statement ambao ulisema pale kwamba the best thing is that there is hope.
There is hope.
Because there's someone anatutazama asubuhi ya leo na amejiona in all the categories. Kule ambako umegusa, amejiona katika sexual abuse, maybe katika verbal afflictions, amejiona pale, katika neglect, amejiona. Kwa sababu, and especially during our days, sisi tulikuwa tuna learn kujilea when we were very young. Wewe ukiwa firstborn, mzazi hataki kujua how old you are, anakuambia you are taking care of you. And by the way, let's talk about it. For someone ambaye alipitia kitu kama kile, kwamba tulianza kujukumika kama wazazi when we were young. Is there an impact to our lives now that we are grown up?
Yes. A big one. First of all, because maybe ulikuwa ana need to kukula naam. So inaweza kuwa very very hard for this child, this 5-year-old girl who is doing all these things, and she skips very important stages of her life to be a child. So wakati mtoto kama huyo tunasema they are parentified. They are children lakini wanafanya kazi ya mzazi.
Kweli.
Na haifai kuwa hivyo. So wana skip very important stages in their life. These are developmental stages of children are very, very important. Wacha watoto wacheze na dolls zao, wacha wakue mahali wanaweza jiamini, wakuulize maswali, lakini mtoto hana chance kama hiyo. Amechoka, hata ukifika jioni unamchapa ama umembebesha mtoto na yeye bado ni mtoto. So you are stealing away their childhood. And when they become adult, they are very aggressive. Ni watu wako very aggressive. Wanaona watu wengine wanafanya utoto, unajua hawezi enda.
They have overmatured.
They skipped hiyo part yote ya kugrow as a child. They're so aggressive. They want to do things on their own. Wanataka muone world vile wao wanaona. Because that's the way walionyeshwa, this is the way things should be. And if that person becomes a mother or a father, they want to pass on, remember, that pattern still to the child. Yes. So unapata bado una expect mtoto wako, kama sahi sasa tuko na very different generation. Unataka mtoto wako afikirie anafaa kuchemshia watoto food, kuosha watoto wengine. Na hizi hawa hawafikiri hivyo nowadays. So unajua what's up with these children.
Mbona ufikiri?
And you end up even beating them. Because that is what your mother or your father did to you. So there is hope even to that mother who feels nimenyima watoto wangu kuwa watoto. Yeah, nimenyima, ama pia wewe uko hapa una feel nilinyimwa utoto wangu. Yeah, what can I do?
Exactly. Is there a remedy?
Yes.
Kwa sababu sasa nilishanyimwa na mimi niko 40, niko 50. And yes, I'm aggressive the way unasema. Chenye nimesema ndicho yafaa kipass, because that is what it should be. What is the remedy?
Ni kujielewa tu, kujiaccept that this was stolen from me. And I need not to be angry with anybody, because they also become very angry. Like nimesema, they are very aggressive. They become very angry. They are so irritable. Yeah, because there's that part they never enjoyed in their childhood. They became parents when they were not supposed to become parents. They matured faster than they were supposed to have matured. So and also I think kuna trauma zingine ambazo haziletwi na only physical abuse. Na unaweza kuwa na mgonjwa ndio tunaitanga long term ailment. Na umeona huyu mtoto ama mtu wenyu ama mtoto amekuwa hapo kwa ugonjwa for a very long time. It can be traumatizing because wewe kama caregiver umekuwa hapo, unamuosha, unamfanya everything. And maybe the condition is getting worse and worse. It can traumatize you. And one of the things that can go through in your mind is the fear of dying. Unaona like, we are going to die. Who is next? Itapata mtu mwingine kwa family. Ingine ni hiyo nimesema, being in an environment ambayo haiko very conducive. Inaweza kuwa hakuna security in the area that you live in. Tumesikia kuna mitaa zingine kuna a lot of shooting and all that can also traumatize you. It can give you anxiety. Hata kuenda nyumbani ushaanza kuangalia sana ni 3 utafika nyumbani saa ngapi. So there are many ways of looking at the trauma. It's not only in the physical abuse or emotional abuse or even in the sexual abuse. There are many ways, and that is why I asked our listeners, what have you gone through? What kind of trauma do you feel you have gone through? But there is help in all these traumas.
Exactly, and I want us to look at the help ambayo ipo kwa ajili yetu, because Waswahili huwa wanasema kwamba maji ama maziwa yakishamwagika hauwezi ukayazoa. Lakini labda unaweza tafuta njia mbadala ya kuandaa chai, si ndio? What are the solutions?
The solution is understanding that you went through a trauma. And don't blame yourself. It was not your fault to go through what you went through. And especially if you went through sexual abuse. You never put yourself there to be assaulted or to be abused every time. Because this is a thing that have you ever heard people say, I was raped when I was a baby, I was raped when I was a teenager, then when I was a grown up. I mean, it is not you. There's nothing wrong you're doing. It's just something that has happened to you, and you need help, you need someone who can walk with you.
Yeah.
You can talk to someone. There are family members, there are friends who are caring.
Yes.
Wacha nitumie hiyo jina. Who are caring to walk with you. Kuna
Yes.
wengine you will not tell them anything. Those who are caring, you can talk to them. Mtu anaweza kukusaidia because you are not alone. Okay? Siku hizi kwa mtaa tuko na small organization to NGOs ambazo zina create hizi awareness about sexual abuse and other abuses that are there. Tembelea kwa hizo organization. Most of them are free and they will educate you. They will walk with you. The other thing is also to see a counselor who can be able to help you process. Because it's a lot of processing. And especially if you have been abused once and twice and even many times, there's a lot of process to understand that you don't need to blame yourself. It is not you. Sometimes also we also need to start looking at our parents. Why did they behave the way they behave towards me? Where did they also come from? Did they also come from a very abusive grandmother and grandfather? Because maybe most of them walikuwa ni wazazi walienda through Mau war. So you can imagine at that time, the country and the parents, the children, everyone was separated. So what the parents maybe saw is what they passed on, and now it's up to here. Here we are. We normally say you can put a line and say, from here, this ends. This ends with me. I will love my children even though I have gotten them through not the right way. I will love them because God allowed them to come through me. I will protect them. I will speak words that will help them to grow, that will build their self-esteem, that will build their confidence. That when they grow up, they will stand up and say, I learned from my father this and this. Not standing up and crying because of
remembering the relationship.
And so if you are remembering things that happened in your childhood, please seek help. Sometimes wacha nirudie tu pale kwa physical abuse because probably hapo ndio watu wengi wako. Na uligrow kwa hiyo familia, uliona mama yako akichapwa ama saa zingine kuna wengine walikuwa wanachukua hata panga wataanza kukatakata huko.
That's true.
Maybe in your house right now wezi chukua chopping board ukatekate. You still listen. That could be my father cutting things, threatening. So if it's something that is really threatening you, na inakupatia hiyo kufikiria what happened, you need to seek help. You need to talk to somebody. And also you can look at other ways of growing yourself. Like even engaging in nature. Kuwa na activities zako mwenyewe. Enda pale ufanye ile cycling, the bicycle. Do something for yourself. Fanye ile mindfulness. Fikiria positively. Because now you are here. What do you need to do?
Exactly. You're already here.
Yes, you're already here. And this is where you are. Accepting first where you are and then looking at what are the positive things I need to start engaging in.
Ivy ameandika ujumbe fani hapa, anasema Selemi, mimi niko na mwanamume ambaye kitu kidogo badala ya mimi kulia yeye ndiye analia kila saa. Is this even okay?
Wow.
Badala ya mimi kulia yeye ndiye analia kila saa. Is this even okay?
It's not okay.
What could be the problem here? I have also seen someone like that. Well, he wasn't my husband, but I've seen someone like that. Especially when he has made a mistake. You will, badala akuje tu akwambie I'm sorry, he will tell you the sorry, but he will get so emotional. You know, or he's begging you for something. He will come beg, yes, but he gets very emotional. And he's a man. Okay,
two things. Inaweza kuwa it's not okay. Inaweza pia kuwa he doesn't want to talk about it. So the easiest way is to show you machozi. And as we know, men don't cry. Na ukiona machozi
but maybe
ya
he's
men,
using that to blackmail someone.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if you come asking me for something and you're crying,
yes,
you know, maybe you're telling me how low you are, You'll blackmail me into doing it.
Yes, yes. It could be someone who is very abusive.
Okay.
And this is a way, yes.
Someone who is very abusive.
Yes, it's very abusive. And this is a way of, it's a coping mechanism, like anataka kujidefend. And the only way, if you see my tears, you will buy them. You will buy them that I'm sorry. And on the other hand, it could be he's not also okay. There could be also things that are going on in his mind. Yeah. So you need to have that candid conversation and ask him, every time we talk, you cry. What is that behind the tears?
The tears.
Yes. And just talk about them.
But generally, Mercy, let's talk about crying, and especially kwa watoto. Na pia wakati mtu amepatwa na jambo, like we've always had this kwamba acha mtu alie, like if I've lost a loved one, huwa tunaambiwa a friend of mine was telling me, Sele, acha, let him cry, let him cry. Is it a therapy?
It's very, very, very good to cry.
Okay.
Yes. Kuna some hormones zinasaidia na ambazo zinakuwa released when you cry.
Yeah.
They actually release a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure. So it is okay to cry, by the way. It's okay to cry. But kuna machozi zingine, like if someone is abusing you and they don't want to be sorry, and they start crying. Yeah.
That
like you said, yes, it's abusing you, and it's also blackmailing you and manipulating you. Yeah, it's a form of manipulation. But you also need to understand, why are they crying? Because you can't be just making mistake na unalia tu. So there could be something behind the tears. It could also be mtu akona emotional outburst. When you have emotional outburst, inamaanisha ya kwamba there's something, these underlying issues within you.
Yeah.
Something that you remember, or maybe unaona ya kwamba this is the only place I can just cry or release my tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. 22914, karibu tunatamatisha. We have a few minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes there. Tunatamatisha kipindi chetu asubuhi ya leo, na we are talking about childhood traumas, by the way. Unaweza ishi maisha we mwenyewe. Mercy akawa ameuliza kwamba jiangalie, useme ni yapi ambao unafikiria ulipitia. Kuna watu, even as we are talking here today, you just reflecting on your own life. You remembering how your mom alikuwa anawashautia, unakumbuka vile daddy alikuwa anakuja anapiga kelele from far. You know, the pain you went through. Some of us maybe were raised by house girls na mlikuwa mnateswa. Vitu kama vile tunaambiwa kwamba there is hope, there is still room for you to understand yourself and just make that decision kwamba, you know what, I've gotten myself here and this is where I am, and exactly this is what I want to do. Let's wrap up.
A child who has been abused, or a child who has gone through trauma as a child, it's very easy for that child to pass on to the next generation. It's a pattern. So where you are, think, what have I gone through?
Yeah.
I need help. Seek help as now, so that you stop it and you are able to live a healthy life.
Yeah.
And like we said, it can be direct or indirect.
Yeah.
It can be something that happened to you, or you have witnessed that thing. Could be you have seen someone being beaten, someone being killed. There is help for all this, because you also go through trauma. Yes. So because you don't want to pass it to your children or to your friends, seek help. It's very important. And also the other thing is, it varies also. Mtu anaweza kuwa umepitia trauma, kuna mtu ataweza ku just go through it na pone, but there are others that get stuck. And getting stuck, or they are fixated to that trauma all the days of their life. And when they are fixated to that,
it's like a shadow that has been cast.
It's just there. It keeps reoccurring. It can bring PTSD. That's what we call post-traumatic stress disorder sometimes with our army officers wakiwa uko nini nje wakifight, they normally get that sana because of the bombing, because of seeing their colleagues being killed. They go through that a lot, and sometimes wakiwa nyumbani hata wanaweza ona hizo images. So this trauma, it's that thing that really frightens your life or poses danger or keeps reminding you, but there is help. With therapy, you can continue having more of the sessions as much as you can. With loved ones, and especially for parents, if a child is going through that trauma, unaweza muondoa kwa hiyo environment. So we have experienced sometimes buildings zikichomeka na labda ilikuwa next to your building. Huyo mtoto ameona, na wakati every time unapika anashtuka.
Anaona ule moto.
Anashtuka, anakuwa na mawazo mengi, anaota. Kama ni kuweza kumuongelesha, unaweza muongelesha. There is something that we call flooding in psychology. Ile wakati kama ni kitu unaogopa sana, tunakupeleka pale. Kama ni nyoka, gusa.
My goodness.
Leo uione mbali, kesho tutakaribia karibu, hivyo until you come to the reality. Okay? But it does not.
This helps someone build.
It helps. Not really even to build, just to have a touch of. It was not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Kama sometimes we have seen people who either it can be an accident, you lost a loved one, you want to visit that scene. Wataka kuona ni hapa, kweli ni hapa. And there are others who will not comprehend hata kwenda karibu. So it varies with different types of people and the way we are also wired. So let's be very careful when we are handling trauma. And let's stop telling people you're traumatized, because haujui anapitia trauma gani. And they need help. So above all, if it's not well taken care of, it actually brings diseases like heart disease, asthma, diabetes, because of constant worrying and anxiety and panic. Your body now is also fighting through that pressure that has been brought up by trauma. You're fearing, my husband might beat me, did I do something wrong? It's because of that picture that you saw. It's kept on repeating itself. It could be a child in school, mwalimu amemshautia, maybe akiwa grade 1. Iyo na kama ameendelea na huyo mwalimu grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, inakuwa ni kitu sasa ameanza kustore in them. It affects the way they study, the way they relate with people, na it will affect the way they also relate pale in their adulthood. So wewe kama mzazi, be in your child's life. Get to understand, what is my child going through? It could also be the things that they also watch. Remove those things that brings trauma in them. Hata hama kama ni mahali anafila yuko safe, mneza hama hiyo place, and you bring a good environment to your child and even to yourself. But there is help.
There is help. Catherine Karino wasema powerful, very good topic. Child abuse casts a shadow the length of a lifetime. This is true. Alafu Lois Waben unasema thank you so much Mercy for sharing. I'm learning a lot, the power of words. Asante sana. Jmo unasema tuko Othaya, tuko pamoja. Alafu umeniambia hapo. Alafu Ben Mcha Mungu unasema thank you for considering our healing, be blessed. Asante sana. Nyamatamu Products unasema uko ndani ya nyumba. Alafu huku Pastor Ken unasema Sele, this is beautiful, this is wonderful, nimelana a lot, but sometimes hatuna pa kumwaga our stress and our frustrations, and that's why many of us wanajiua. Even you psychologists, many of you are also losing their lives if they don't talk out to someone.
There is always help. Help has been given to all of us. Let me say that. Sometimes we shy out by seeking help, but seeking help does not mean that you're very weak. No, it means that you're a very strong human being who needs support. And support it's not supposed to be seen like a weak thing. I agree with him bila amesema. Tumesikia kuna psychologist pia wamepitia the same. So, we all have help. Hata mimi sasa hivi there are people who also help me. You also need to be, you talk to. There are people I talk to. You need to be vulnerable. You need to walk with someone. You need to look for a mentor who is a truthful mentor, who is caring, who is encouraging, who is supportive, who can see you even when you're not seeing yourself, who can see the mistake that you're doing. They can tell you. But you also have to have a very teachable heart to know, nimekosea, I need help. And tomorrow it will become better. And for him vile anasema hatuna mahali, kuna mahali ni places mingi sana you can seek help.
So like from your end, do you guys offer help? Is it open to the public? And if yes, munapatikanaje?
I do a lot of psychoeducation on social media. If you go to TikTok, if you go to our Facebook page, we call ourselves Zoe Fair Heavens, and we talk, we engage with people, and those who are in need, they also inbox, and you are able to help them. Because help is available. Help is not expensive. Help is just when we are just having a conversation with you, Celestine, and you're like, I'm not alone. I can face tomorrow. So yes, help is available.
Help is available. Thank you so much, Mercy, for coming. Mungu akubariki sana na kutende wema. Msaada upo, usije ukajifia pale unasema sasa itakuaje, mimi unajua niliteseka, mimi unajua. Do not allow the burdens of yesterday to determine your tomorrow, because you have a long way to go. So hakisha kwamba you are laying off. Hata Paulo akasema I'm laying off every burden ili niweze kupiga mbio nifike kule ambako yafaa nifike. So we also have to lay down. And how do we do this? By seeking help, by accepting that it happened na imetukuta hapa. So how do we forge forward? Thank you so much. Mungu akubariki for even being with me kutoka Jumatatu. We are wrapping up the week today. May the grace of God be our portion as well. Wenzangu ambao mmefanikisha kipindi cha leo, thank you so much. May God be glorified in your lives. And now may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forever.